Today I want to talk about the saturation of the industry, the real estate media industry. There's a few players, there's a few big voices on Instagram, social media, and they'll tell you, oh, this is so simple, buy my course, or, they'll tell you their secret settings for HDR. And, none of this is a secret. It's all online. You can learn all this on YouTube. And so, but they go, the thought is that, oh, it's so easy, such a great side gig, I can make a bunch of money for hardly any work. And for some of them, like HDR photos, maybe you take your photos, you send it off to an editor, and you got them back the next day. And yeah, that's not a lot of effort. I mean, there certainly is equipment. You have to have good equipment. Yes, you do. So there is some investment, but other than that, you can buy a camera and run around, tell everybody you take real estate photos, and you're in business. But those guys, if you really want to do that, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or anything, but really, I don't think you're going to get very far, because you really got to offer the 5 main services. It's not just HDR photos, it's video, it's floor plans, it's interactive floor plan tours. Those are pretty popular in some areas. You have drone, and then you have 3D. You really need to offer all 3 if you're going to do this. That's my opinion. But anyway, so now with these guys on social media, I mean, I even saw one. I'll tell you this because it's kind of funny, I mean, this is how bad it is. I saw a guy on Instagram, and he said, he had an ad, a little video of himself talking. He goes, oh, 6 months ago, I was homeless, living out of my car. Now I'm making over $20,000 a month taking doing real estate photography. Man, that's when, when you see stuff like that, that's when you just know it's saturated. There's just, it's just, buy my book for $27. You don't have to do any of that. You can contact me. You can contact me, and I'll answer any of these questions. Not that I'm the source of all information or the guru. I'm not advertising myself or my service. Pick a point like that. We're not gurus of how to do photography or videography. We know how to do it, of course. That's our business. But you can learn that yourself. You can do all this yourself. Reading it online, going to Reddit, going to YouTube. There's plenty of people who are informing because they enjoy teaching people, I guess. But it's all on there. It is all on there. There's no secret settings. There's no secret. There's no secret. If there's a secret, it's how to get clients. That's the secret. That's the sauce. If you want to know what the sauce is, or what you really need to learn how to do, is get clients. Now that starts with knowing what you're doing, feeling confident about it, and delivering a good service at a good price. But that's just the start. Again, that is just the start. There are so many people out there, and so that's my take on the industry, kind of the saturation of the industry. It is. I can't talk for the entire U.S., the whole country, but I'm sure there's pockets, there's areas where, there might be a photographer or two, and maybe you can squeeze in there pretty easy, easy. We're talking easy. The easy times are over. Those are over. Any big city, any big area is going to have competition. And they're, because when it was easy, when nobody was doing it, or when it was, 20 years ago, 15 years, even 10 years ago, yeah, man, the pictures were great. Yeah, they were great. And now, at least, like I said, the big major areas, no, it is not easy. And as a matter of fact, the people who have, the guys, the girls who have been out there for 20 years, 15, 20 years, man, they have locked up a lot of business. they've locked up a lot of business. They've created agencies, and they're well known in their areas, and so they have a jump on you. Man, they got to jump like crazy. If you're just getting into this, it's probably a really good idea to, unless you owned a business before. Maybe your marketing, maybe your business acumen, marketing acumen is just head and shoulders above people in your area who are in the business. Maybe you can out muscle them with good marketing and your beautiful smile or whatever it gets you in the door. Yeah, you could probably do it. Starting a business, look at all the people who start restaurants, and restaurants is like one of the worst businesses to get into. They fail at a rate that's so much higher than almost every other business, and so that doesn't stop people. They still open them. They still go out there and try to make their dream. So it's possible, but I really do want to tell people that it is saturated. Again, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I really don't. I'm sure there's going to be people who come into the business and just they set the world on fire. Maybe they do something a little bit differently. They do something a little bit better, and they're able to squeeze out a really good living. And it is a good living if you can get the business, and the prices I have a friend who is a contract photographer for a larger virtual tour company, an agency. Okay, he's a contractor. His pay is it's terrible. Okay, if he went out and did a 30 photo job, the agency would pay him $60. He's a contractor. There's no off days, there's no paid holidays, there's no paid vacation days, there's no 401k, there's no sick days. Maybe I said that already, but there's no insurance, there's no mileage reimbursement. He even has to pay for his own equipment, and some of this equipment can get pretty expensive. A drone, a 3D camera, a camera and lens, maybe even a separate video camera. It's really not necessary, but if you get the right camera setup, it's really not necessary, but some people do. Maybe you have 2 or 3 lenses. Guess what? You really got to have a backup. You almost have to have a backup. I mean, you don't have to have a backup for everything, but man, if you really want to be professional, if something goes down, you want to have a backup. That's my opinion. And so now you're almost talking about double for everything. That can get quite pricey. Anyway, so that's my take on saturation for the industry, and we have a way that we deal with it. I'll talk about that in other videos, but for right now, I'll just leave it at that because I really want to focus all my videos on one topic. And so please come to our website. It's pickpoint.com. My name is Eric Kittleson, and you can call me, you can text me, you can DM me on Instagram, you can leave a comment here on YouTube. Reach out to us if you're a photographer looking for more business, or you're a contract photographer who just doesn't, you want to make more money, but you really don't want to run your own business, but you really don't want to set up your own website, and which isn't that hard, but it's all the scheduling, it's everything else that goes with a website. If you really don't want to get into all that, but you want to make more, again, call us, reach out to us, email, DM, call, text, doesn't matter. Any question you have, more than happy to talk to you. And we have some incentives. I'll talk about that in another video as well. But that's it for today.